YouTube. It's me, Kareem Zamir. Those are the second Seekers of Galanti. Ooh, this is Second Wake. Welcome. It is episode. Don't tell me. Episode 4, year 2. Is that right? Yeah, episode 4, year 2. The reason why we break it up by year is not that we started a brand new campaign. No. Don't tell the algorithm. We're just making the numbers lower so that it'll recommend the video to people, because I was told that double digits numbers get recommended less than single digit numbers. So instead of saying episode 56, we can just say it's episode 4 of the second year that we're playing here on Twitch. And apparently YouTube remembers that, which I will say we have had a couple more views of year 2 stuff versus year 1 stuff, which is kind of interesting. Although I think like our first ever video where like our setup is all like janked up and like I'm like unmuting and muting people individually instead of having a switchboard. I think it still has the most views, which is awesome. Which means people are finding it and people are like, this looks cool, and then they're like, wow, this setup is terrible, and I'm like, I swear it gets better. If you stick with it, the setup does get better. Anyway, that's a whole thing. But yeah, welcome back everyone here. Yeah, we're back in Second Wake. We're doing stuff. Let's find out what we did 2 weeks ago. I'm going to pass it to... I'm gonna pick JJ. JJ, what happened 2 weeks ago? I see the big eyes. I know I've chosen right, because your eyes have expanded to allow me to know that you have all the information flooding in through your retina.
Let me take a peek-see here at my notes. So last time, if I remember correctly, we were taking a peek at the aftermath of our battle with what we assume kind of is the scimitars, but not really. We kind of found out that not only were there 2 tieflings that match the traditional scimitars, but it also looks like they might be working with some folks from Grim Village, so that was really fun. Vel and I both touched the bow. It was a bad time. It was a particularly bad time. I'm pretty sure Vel saw our clown friend, her clown friend in particular, and JJ saw a horrible version of herself. So, very fun. We met a man named Klaus. Definitely not Santa Claus with a giant sack of doodads to bring back up to Iskander. Definitely not Santa at all. He is Durgar, and we brought him back to town with us, back to Deerwood. But on the way back to Deerwood, we did stop off at JJ's family ranch/farm. Everyone seemed to be lining up to make deals with Basler. JJ was notified that her deal with Basler was now finished because so much of her family decided to make deals with him. So that was super fun. We are now part of a wonderful new budding religion named the Huggy Bears. And let me just go to our tenets. Or what our ideals are. We're an open religion, and we love with both arms and kill with both arms. It's the very important thing, you know? We're working on all the other tenets. We're going to get it down. Vel also joined this wonderful religion. We're going to be, hopefully, bringing more folks in. It was a little emotional goodbye with Basler, because Basler's going to stay at the family farm for a while we go off into the world. Oh yeah, and then we exploded the whole area, I think, with Klaus's ship.
Earlier, not your family farm?
Yeah, no, not at the family farm.
I was like, I missed that one. You
Prior.
guys killed everyone. Oh, God.
Prior. No, we're good. It was prior. Sorry, my brain is jumping around all over the place. But yeah. I think that's pretty much it. And then we headed back into town and set up. And then during the break, we had our little player meetings on like what we're all doing and how we're all feeling. And then we also got a wonderful card over the holidays from a cute little little creature that showed us the Tem little portrait postcard thing that was really cute. Happy holidays thing. But yeah, that was pretty much it, I think.
Sounds about right to me. I think that's the long and short of it. After going forward, seeing the religion, not the cult. Cults get raided, as we learned, but religions don't have to pay taxes. So that's super great. So the Huggy Bears have been started within the small farming village that is now pretty much just Lightning Ranch, is kind of what it's turning into for JJ's family. They now have found, in many ways, like a harvest god in Vasler, who is a now 3-foot tall red and black demon, who has promised them whatever their heart's most desire is, in exchange for just being worshipped and following the tenets of the Huggy Beardom. And, you know, not taking no shit from anybody, or taking everything they want except for shit from other people. You don't take shit from nobody. So yeah, very good mentality. With that, the group loaded back up into their carriages and headed back to the estate of the Lady Gulanti. At this point now, it is fast approaching the early hours of the morning. Much of the group has now stayed up for several hours at this point, following their dinner. I won't say fiasco. I will say interesting plot. We'll say the interesting plot of that. But you all do arrive safely back within the reaches of Dyrwood, within the Gulanti estate, and are left to your own devices. Upon this travel, Velithil had expressed concerns that the group might need to have a heart-to-heart and discuss matters that are quickly approaching and get things lined up, and the party had spoken minorly at this, but as they sit now in the meeting room of the wing of the estate of which they find their residence, Seekers of Gulanti, you stand around a small coffee table, minor, small kind of morning things at this point I would assume be here, pastries and the like, cups of coffee or tea, whatever, or water, depending on who you are. And you sit there now, deciding what the next plan of action should be for the Seekers of Gulanti, and how you will best leave your mark upon the world. And I turn it over to you. Take it away. Literally anyone.
Did we take a long rest then?
Yeah, that's fine. I thought we had spoken to that. Yes, you each would have taken a long rest. In doing so, yes, I don't think I actually described it. I apologize. It's my fault. So here's my two. Here, actually, my I need 3 things, because I think I said long rest and I never went back to it, and that is completely on me, and I apologize. You can be a fun DM, but you can't be a good and fun DM. No, I'm kidding. So starting off here, who is in possession of the mirror that was recovered from the lake? JJ is in possession of the mirror, still within your room. Good to know.
I'm pretty sure it's JJ.
Super great. JJ, I need you, as you rest this evening, to please provide unto me a wisdom saving throw. Six. JJ, you lay down to rest early in the evening, or early in the morning, I should say, having gone through a number of traumatic events, a brutal fight at which you almost saw many of your friends passing away, impaled against the arrows from some would-be highwaymen. You begin to dream, and dream deeply, and you feel yourself begin to be pulled deeper and deeper still. In your dream, you can feel the air leave and slowly be pushed from your lungs, and you almost feel as if there is a sense of water that enraptures and pulls you against the turning tides of the world. There's a moment in which you feel strong enough, or rather willingly enough, to open your eyes, and you view a world not unlike the one you find yourself in every day. A room covered in walls, trappings of mortal things, but as you look to the ceiling, you can see a shimmer, a shake, a collection of water that seems just filled up to the surface, and above it, a bright and beautiful sun. You get the feeling that you have sunken down below the depths of some great many things, and as you look around, you can see the reflection of yourself painted and plastered against the walls of your abode. There is a heavy, set feeling. Your arms and legs, they do not seem to respond to you, nor move and pull and push against you. Instead, you are left sitting, looking up into the sunlight. You watch, and as time passes throughout your dream, this sense of drowning begins to envelop you once again. You can see a dark, looming, shadowy claw reach from across the open sky and enrapture and grasp the sun, dousing it and filling your dream with eternal darkness. You awaken in a pool of your own sweat to a scream. I need you to make me an intelligence saving throw.
Five.
You lose a point of sanity.
She's insane.
All right. I like hearing that to start. We're starting it off right. We will get to that roll after the stream, as your insanity begins again. So, with that, I also need to know, let's see here. Oh, I know this answer. Orville, what's good? What's popping, you?
Howdy.
Howdy. I need a charisma saving throw for your dream this night.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Oh boy.
That's 11 on die, so it's going to be 11 total.
An 11 total? All right. With that 11, you head to bed as normal. You face plant deeply onto the front of your bed. And for whatever reason, upon finding some sort of slumber, there is a heat that seems to predominantly wash over your left-handed side. Your right side continues to pull over with bits and fits of cold. You can feel these almost ethereal hands place upon your back, and there is a sense of calm nature. You can hear whispers in the wind, all emanating around from your sealed room. You hear a calling, a voice that is unrecognizable, but is clearly not your own or that of your allies. Do you speak Celestial?
No.
All right. You hear the voice of angels, or what you'd assume or presume them to be, ring and hymn deeply within your eye, or within your mind's eye. There is a calling to it, a push for greatness, almost a desire for a decision to be made. Yet instructions, they leave your ears as quickly as they enter them. And that is your dream for the evening. Now then, who is in possession of the bow?
I don't think anybody.
We left it.
No, I
No.
took it.
Oh,
But
If you want to
did
leave it on the
take it?
street, that's fine with me.
no, I brought it with me, but
Is it in your
definitely
room?
No, absolutely not.
Where would you have
Probably
left it?
strewn across the table.
I
Like, alright,
would
fuck this shit.
I would be in my room then, because I'm not just gonna leave it about.
Okay.
All right. So, with that, Vel, I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw. It is not from an evil outsider, so you do not have the advantage of your amulet, unfortunately.
Okie dokie. That is an 11.
11. Your dreams are but a fever in the mire of your mind. Often as you dream and continue to more or less enter into your trance-like state as an elf, there are normally times in which you can reflect upon the day's events, slowly break them down, organize your thoughts, and allow your memories to be securely fastened within your long-lived mind. There is a dreamlike state in which you enter, but truly not the slumbering sort. Instead, in the premise of your still waking mind, you feel an intrusion to your temple, the very focus of your serenity as you attempt to recover from the day's events. There is a laughter that you can hear at the very edges and coastings of your mind, and you can see a dark shadow almost form and twist in the very mire of the darkness of your room. You see not one, not two, not three, nor four, but instead a small collective, nearly a dozen or so sets of eyes that stare out at you from the bleak darkness before each one finds itself a matching and wide, glistening white smile. They seem to chatter and cackle in your direction, and you continue to hear a number of words whispered to you in languages that you seem to understand. Soon, soon, you will be but the key that brings us to your friends, and we will rend them piece by piece. And you make me an intelligence saving throw.
$21.
21. You manage to maintain your concentration, your connection, your poise and posture in this event, but you do suffer this small bit of, shall we say, nightmarish events. Your mind is riddled with the idea that at any time these creatures just beyond the boundary from which you draw power, or some facet of such power, will soon arrive within your room and use you as their entry into the world you know. Past that, you all awaken. After a long rest, each of you may recover your hit points fully, your spell slots returned. Oh, I did forget because she's not here. There is an event in Morgan's room, of which we will discuss when she returns next week. Look forward to it. But past that, everyone else, you all awaken without much to do, some of you a bit shakier than others, to say the least, and from that, you have yourselves a large day ahead of you. Each of you emerges from your chambers when you find the right means to, and I assume are meeting up for today's discussions.
In my morning routine in getting out of bed and whatnot, can I glance back over that postcard I had from Cloudview Village and see if anything kind of sort of rings a bell, or if anything stands out there?
Sure. I mean, it's just a symbol for the most part. It's like a postcard with that big black stamp on the back of it of what looks like a bird's beak and face that has been adorned across the back of it. And you determined it was Cloudview. Were you looking to figure out anything else about it, or?
Just if there's any connection between that and my dreams.
In your dreams?
Yes.
Go ahead and roll insight on that.
That's going to be a 19.
19. From your summation, you would very easily kind of recall the information, the kind of feeling, and almost this, like, divinity that has reached out to touch and speak to you before, befitting that of one of the weavers when you first produced the staff from its kind of resting spot. This doesn't seem to befit whatever this strange sigil might be.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions for folks? Beep boop.
Did anything else from JJ's dream, like the claw, or was there like a shape of some sort of creature at the same time? Or does she know of any stories perhaps that have to do with blocking out the sun, or a creature destroying the sun?
So that's a bit of a difficult one. There are many stories and many bardic tales that herald bad omens of the sun falling to darkness. It's a very common trope in many storytelling devices. What you would surmise is that you more than likely were on looking to what could possibly be interpreted as a sort of vision of what is to come, or what may pass or may not pass. From your dream, it could be your fears that things are beyond your control. Certainly you have experienced quite a bit of trauma at this point, as well as a number of dark machinations that seem to protrude into your still waking subconscious mind. Is it an otherworldly view, or is it just the mind of a bard slowly looking for any grasping straws within stories she knows to herald what she feels in this moment? That is up to you.
Okie dokie.
To make my way to get some breakfast.
Breakfast. As with as with the previous days, when you head out of your room, you can see sitting in a small chair in the kind of like meeting area. You see Bartholomew redressed in like bright silks, a baby blue outfit, and kind of looks to you and goes, "Oh, good morning, Miss Celeste."
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Doing quite well. I took the liberty of getting a bit of morning brunch for everyone, and gestures to the table, and you see a collection of muffins that have been provided, and then one just mostly uncooked piece of what appears to be like Canadian bacon, like just a big slab of ham. And something I think I will throw at Mr. Jones when he arrives, that way he doesn't yell at me for elf shit, as I believe I've been told.
You know, it's a good idea.
Yes.
Thinking on your toes.
I was actually thinking with my mind, but I would have to try this thinking on my toes thing. Does that help stimulate the thought process?
Listen, you're far smarter than I am, so you just keep doing you.
Well, I appreciate the sentiment, Miss Celeste, but I do believe that there is greatness in each and every one of you. Truly, you will do great things. I can feel it. But first,
No, I will definitely do great things. I'm just saying I'm not as intelligent as you are, buddy. Are you okay?
No, I would ask that you not disparage yourself in such a way.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha now.
I care very fondly for both you and the rest of the Seekers, and truly there is a divinity among each and every one of you that I can see beyond what many would call the wheel of fate in this instance. Regardless of your academic nature, the intelligence that you hold and the choices that you should make are ones in which I think the modern man or woman would be frightened to grasp at.
Okay, are we getting deep this morning?
Oh, I'm so sorry. No, here, coffee, and I also got a thing of teas, and creamers. Here you go. And he sets down like a collection of like milks and like creamers that have been prepared. One of them is made out of almonds, I'm told. I'm not sure how you get milk from an almond, but there you go.
Enter Orville, yawning, kind of half stretched, eyes hardly open.
Oh,
y'all were talking about thinking on your toes. No, you just need them for striking. And he'll reach for the table and anything that he can. First thing that he can grab that's about hand size to throw up into the air and try and jump scissor kick out of the air.
Oh, okay. I would say Bartholomew reaches for a muffin to throw at you. So your first thing you would touch would probably be the back of Bartholomew's hand. Do you want a scissor kick and throw him into the air?
Oh, no. If he's going to throw a muffin, I will fully let him.
Okay. So, yeah, you reach for a muffin. He grabs it. He throws it at you and goes, think fast, Mr. Orville.
Can I attempt to kick this muffin out of the air?
Yes, you can use deflect missiles to deflect this muffin.
Can I choose to instead just absolutely biff it and just eat shit right in the dining hall?
Yeah, you are more than able to do that. So you go for...
I go to kick it, and I just get like a full arc around it, and then fail to plant my feet and just face first into the floor.
Oh god. Okay, yeah. So you go for like every bad TikTok video where they're going to show off gymnastics first thing in the morning. The muffin soars past you. You flip with the muffin Matrix style, do a kick. You hear a crunching sound as you land squarely on your jaw, and it pops a little bit. The muffin tumbles over the heel, pops itself up, and sticks. And you, Cobalt Jones, as you're walking out of your room, you see there is now a muffin stalagmite? I believe it's mite, not tight. But you see it now stuck on the ceiling, and Orville is down on the ground.
So, all right, maybe, just maybe. I need some more thinking in there, toes. Maybe you're right. I'm gonna get me some coffee.
Yep, I'll have it for you. One lump or two, sir.
This is gonna be a big lump. Yeah. Just rub it and walk off.
He'll come back for it. And just slides like a coffee with a lot of cream and sugar on it. Looks to you. Good morning, Mr. Jones.
So, Jonesy has just come in from actually outside.
Ooh.
He's just pouring sweat because he just did a Rambo workout.
Oh.
And has been running all around town in full plate armor. And he also has every single one of his weapons in his hands for, like, extra weights to be running around with. So he just has, like, a handful of, like, swords and spears and axes. And he's like, what the hell is this elf shit?
Oh, no. I knew you would say that, sir, so I thought ahead. And look, he holds it up like it's almost like a big ham steak. He's like, look at this. This right here is for special little guy. I mean, special big guy. Kind of like wiggles.
He's gonna run up, he's gonna alligator chomp the meat out of his hand.
I knew it was going to happen like that, and yet I was not prepared for it still. Very good, Mr. Jones. That jar.
Where are the eggs?
The eggs. Well, they didn't have any eggs, so I got just the big cut of meat. Do we need eggs? Are you an eggs kind of guy? I was told no eggs after Miss Lightning was having her egg quandary, as it were.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I am, like, part lizard, so...
Right.
But no, you were thinking on your toes, so good on you.
I've been told that I am indeed a toe thinker, so...
You can hear Orville groaning in the background.
Mr. Orville, not a toe thinker. We've learned this morning.
That's unfortunate. Gotta be thinking on those.
I have never thought more about feet in my life, so we're good with that, I suppose. I've never been like a foot person, but I guess that's where ideas come from, is the toes. Right then. All right, so I've got tea and coffee, and I can go see about those eggs if you'd like, Mr. Jones.
Nah, forget it.
Okay then. I will perish the thought. I'll put it in my pinky. That way, it's irrelevant.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's because it's the toe that no one ever. You're right. It doesn't. You're very smart. My bad. Just like slowly puts things together on the table.
I heard tea.
Yes. Quite a good amount of tea. Miss Velithil. Yeah, and has like a saucer and a bit of like a spot of tea. And here you go, freshly made. May you enjoy it.
Thank you, Bartholomew, for joining the table.
Yes. Shall I call for Miss Lightning, or should we give her a few more moments? I know she had a bit of a rough evening.
JJ's just kind of slowly trudge out of her room, kind of just trying to braid her hair back since it's so sweaty and gross.
Oh.
With like a damp towel, and just kind of plops down and grabs a cup of coffee.
Oh wow. I was not aware, Miss Lightning, that you were doing the Jones workout this morning as well. It's a rather good routine from what I saw in the yard.
It was a nightmare. It's alright though.
Oh.
It's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Yes, I often think when I see him working out that it's quite nightmarish, yes. I tried one time, my calves were chafed for weeks.
I have an addendum to make. I said Rambo workout. I meant Rocky workout. Sylvester Stallone.
It's
just like running upstairs.
It's a sly workout.
Who are those?
Well, one I think is a full-blown orc. You gotta fight. And then I think the other one is just any like, I don't know, like weekend warrior guy, really. I don't know what would John Rambo be in D&D. Get in the comments, figure that one out. I don't know.
He's definitely a fighter. I mean, he was...
Well, Rocky's a fighter. I'm a fighter. I don't know what Rambo... Maybe a ranger? I don't know. I have no idea. Barbarian. Probably barbarian. But with
He's
guns.
definitely got at least a couple levels of barbarian.
So it'd be a fun, like, thought exercise. How to make Rambo in D&D. Step 1, PTSD. Step 2, rest of the character.
Step 1 level of artificer to have a gun.
Too funny. But either way, yeah. Big ol' Rambo workout. Rocky workout, whatever. Rocky Rambo.
dream, JJ? Nightmare?
Yeah. It started out like kind of strange, kind of like I was stuck underwater, and then all of a sudden, this thing just. I looked up and like you could see the sun, but this thing grabbed the sun and it was gone. And then I woke up all wet and sweaty and nasty. So I probably need to wash up real quick before we go see the lady, so I don't look like a
You aren't
something.
melting this time, right?
What?
Well, one time you went to sleep
Oh.
and your sword and you kind
Oh.
of were melting.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't blood.
That's good.
It's just sweat. That's probably an improvement. Yeah. I don't know, like all the walls were it was strange. It was strange. Did everyone else sleep all right? I hope.
I don't exactly sleep, but I did see something. I saw a lot of somethings.
Maybe it's because you guys joined that cult.
No.
I was adamantly against joining the religion.
It is a religion, first
It's a
off.
religion. Yes.
Yeah, no, all religions are cults, so.
I
Yeah, I
actually
didn't
agree
join.
in this case. Yes.
I didn't join it, and I still had something strange going on last night as well.
Oh, was it?
See,
Was it
can't blame everything on religion, Cobalt Jones.
Yeah.
I think you could actually. I think I could.
I can and I will.
Yeah. No, I'm with my best friend Jonesy on this one.
Oh, glad to have you back.
That's still
buddy.
happening, old number one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I saw probably about a dozen eyes and smiles in the darkness, laughing and taunting that I would be the key to all of you dying.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I think my arm might be mad. Mostly the people who I steal from in my arm are mad, and I think that they are getting more and more prepared to kind of punish me, and as proxy, you.
Right.
Cobalt Jones will point his 7 weapons still in his hand at you and be like, alright, might as well make it now.
We're doing okay. And you see Bartholomew like whistle, and a sword comes crashing in through the window into his hand. He goes, "All right then, we're doing this." And he angles it at Vel's arm.
We're
No.
not.
Orville
No.
will slam
no,
the table with a fist and say, "Not before his coffee."
Oh, sorry. Nope. Okay. Time. Hold on. He tucks his
Can
sword
we
under his
not
arm. Goes,
cut-
time out.
Wait,
Evil arm.
Let's not cut Belle's arm off again if she's not ready for it.
Oh, was it cut off originally? I thought you lost it to a. Wasn't it like a rock monster or something?
No, it
Did
was.
we even tell you how it happened?
Not really. I've kind of just pieced it together from everyone talking, and I assumed there was a cave and a rather short fellow. And
Yeah.
Then your
Yeah.
arm exploded by a rock monster. I think.
Yeah, it's all Jonesy's fault.
Oh, of course it was
Oh.
Jonesy's fault. I'm sorry. And turns and looks at
wasn't
Jonesy. You owe an
Anybody's
apology.
fault.
Buddy, Jonesy wasn't
Decision.
even there.
Belle made a very selfless decision, and that's why her arm is no longer. So.
Oh.
Very selfless. It was quite heroic, honestly.
Oh my. What?
Yeah, but I don't know. I've rather liked the powers that I've gotten access to thanks to those things, but I don't want to be the cause of literally everyone's deaths.
Well,
I
the
don't
way
know
I
what to
see
do.
it, Val, plenty of things has tried to kill us before. I don't see, what's living in your arms anything different.
If all of you aren't going to demand of me to be rid of it, I just Because I would. I would if you all weren't comfortable.
No, I reckon between, Kobold, myself, and everybody else, we're always down for a good ass kicking.
Yes.
Yeah, just, if push comes to shove, I've taken off 7 arms in my day. Just the arm. Not including, like, all the other stuff, so...
Is that one per weapon? Is that how that works?
Well, I mean, of course.
Oh, okay. So you're like a weapon isn't your weapon until you've taken an arm with it? Is that how?
I mean, at the end of the day, a weapon is a weapon, right? And all of them are capable of taking off an arm. Even that fork over there. But, each one of these weapons, 7 arms.
7 arms. Alright. You see...
I guess that's not true. This battle axe is new, so no arms yet. But, we'll get there.
Oh, okay. Sure, yeah. Of course. I'm just going to, for no reason, I'm just going to take this fork and maybe put it just over... There we go.
I want everyone to be ready. Just keep an eye. I try to have defenses in place to protect me, but I know they can still watch. I don't think they can control me, but that doesn't mean that I'm not just going to explode into some kind of gateway for death. I don't honestly know.
Now, Vel, when you say keep an eye, are you being metaphorical there? Because I just got these shiny
Honestly,
pinkies
you are
now.
the best person to keep whatever you have on me.
I was about to ask, do you think we have to worry about portal traveling still? Or
Yes.
maybe, in the middle of the night when you kind of, in your sleep, blast out into the abyss.
Now that shouldn't
And
happen. That
suddenly
was before I
there's-
got this amulet.
Chaos dogs coming to get us at night.
That was when they were still able to dominate me, but that shouldn't be possible now.
Okay.
Is that because of the whip? You're
No,
the dummy
Oh
now?
no.
I do still have this whip.
It's very fashionable.
Oh, is that a threat?
It's a promise.
Oh my.
I'll take my
Twitch,
copy
please
to
don't
my
take
room.
us off the air.
Yeah, have a good one.
Hi, you
Miss
too.
Celeste.
I'm just gonna take it to my room.
We gotta
Thanks.
go.
We can.
I just
Oh, we got things to do?
we do have things to do, but I wanted to let everyone know, and I don't believe it was some madness or dream, because I don't really do that. I think it was one of the 4 preachers. It was that wriggling mass of muscle and eyes and mouths.
Miss Vel, have you ever just asked your arm at once? Why it's so mad at you?
Well, you know what they want and why they're mad at me. We all met Kizzo together.
Well, I thought there were multiple people in there, you said.
Yes, and I believe they are all servants of Vito.
Oh. Missed that
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. It's definitely connected to multiple creatures of Adnam.
So if we go find Vito and we veto Vito, that vetoes everything that's going on with your arm and you're free?
You know what?
I'd vote
We
for
don't
it.
really know much about.
Vito himself, do we?
No.
I wonder who's worse, Vito or Montserrat and the gang.
Has Montserrat tried to kill us? I feel like...
No,
a
but
nice
he
fella.
says that we're stinky and we don't shower.
Well,
We are sometimes stinky.
and sometimes Mr.
And-
Jones does not shower.
Yeah.
It's honest.
DM, can I make a stealth roll to try and sniff my own armpits without being noticed?
Oh yeah, sure, go ahead.
Alright.
Also, I don't even know what a shower is. We've
No,
had a
it's
couple
very
of-
obvious that Orville is smelling himself.
Orville has also not showered in days.
I don't want to put influence on anyone, but if you ever want the quickest path to be just a little bit cleanlier, I can always just press digitation, little cleanup. It's not perfect, but there you go, Orville.
It's also not a shower, technically.
It does, but it gets a lot of the grime and just off. It helps with the stink a little bit. It's
It's smart.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't know what shower means.
You were raised by.
yeah, no, that checks out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's about right.
Yep.
Yeah, never mind.
Mhm.
Where's our friend Klaus?
He was staying at an inn that
Oh,
I think
right.
Jones suggested to him. We were going to meet him later today after
Okay.
we'd spoken to the lady.
Okay, great. Okay.
He should be heading back here at some point.
I'm gonna bring my coffee in when we go meet the lady, I think.
Oh,
We'll top you off.
does anyone want to take a shower first? We can teach Jones what one is.
Oh, I could do that. I have swimming attire I could wear, Miss Jones, so you don't feel awkward about another man being so close to you in your intimate moments.
I'm like literally a lizard.
I mean, but you're a person, regardless of your lizard heraldry. I didn't want to spook you or anything.
Yeah, I don't care about no elf dick.
Okay, well, thank you. So yeah, I can show you what a shower is if you'd want, best friend.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, cool, great. Anyone else for shower time?
Orville will go.
I
Oh,
think
good.
I'll go take my own shower.
Yeah,
Thank
you probably should. I don't think it's mixed bathing. It's kind of like go in one side or the other side.
Right, I'll just.
Yeah.
I'll use the facilities in my room. It's fine. Thank
Oh,
you.
of course, yes, of course. Mr. Orville? Right this
Yes,
way?
buddy.
Right this way, please.
All right.
Thank you.
All
All
right.
So with that, the trio head off into a very instructional. This is a thing called a bucket of water. Now I know you've seen one before, but this one specifically has been heated up, and then you have this bar of soap, and you're going to rub this all over yourself. Here you go, Mr. Jones.
Oh yeah, it's just instant. Whoosh.
Yeah, just see, the trick is to not drop that. In some circles, that is an invitation, and it is very rude in a number of places when you're taking a shower. You want to firmly grasp it.
Firmly grasp it.
Firmly grasp it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll definitely just claws into it, and then
It's this the whole time.
yeah, I invite you over here, buddy, so I can kick your fucking ass.
Oh, please don't. Thank you. I've had my ass kicked a couple of times now, thanks to cultists. It's great. But yeah, after an early morning of explaining how to dunk water on oneself and how to scoop it out of the warm basin that is in the bathing area of the estate home, everyone becomes clean. Celeste and Vel kind of just hanging out, waiting for everybody.
I'm waiting till they're
clean up too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to get back before I go.
Oh,
Make
okay.
sure that
Yeah.
everything went swimmingly.
Sure, yeah. Everyone comes back clean. Fun fact, Cobalt Jones is actually a lighter purple than the dark purple you thought. So yeah, there's a nice layer of dirt that comes off. His tendril tassels get undone and redone, and they're very clean now, and less blood. Yeah, easy, simple as simple does. Everyone feels better about themselves.
I still feel naked. He just has his full plate armor on and everything.
Yeah. It's also been cleaned at this point. The staff is oh, we can finally clean it. He took it off. They're cleaned it in the bin. Comes back polished and shiny. You can see your face in it if you look down. But yeah, everyone gets cleaned up, feeling a bit better about themselves. Help to wash the previous day off. Anything else you want to do before heading to meet with Gulanti? No? Fresh dress, like $1,000,000, threw on the fly green. Okay, no, sorry. Yeah, so you all arrive cleaned up, cleanly, in your fitting attire. You soon find yourselves outside of the offices of the Lady Gulanti. A number of people are already lined up outside. It takes inwards of about 10 to 20 minutes or so before you guys reach the front, and with a few knocks, you are bade entry. You hear, "Please come in."
Enter.
Okay.
Yep.
Everyone walks into the small office. There inside, whoop, whoop, whoop. Let's break the whole stream, don't mind me. Should be here. Bam! You see the familiar raven-haired head of the Lady Galanti sat behind her desk, wearing kind of her court finery, large kind of jeweled crown, adorned kind of her circlet that then rolls into the back of her hair. She kind of looks you all over and goes, "Oh, goodness me. It is very great to see you, my darling seekers. And with new additions as well. I'm not sure if they've already informed you, but both Celeste and Mr. Jones have decided to embark upon a venture with the Seekers of Galanti, and thusly I think will be very good fits for your association, my children."
Happy to have him, ma'am.
That I am sure. Please, do tell me, have you come here for... well, there could be any number of reasons, I do assume. I am curious to know, are we looking to resolve your matter from the Eastern ventures, or perhaps Mr. Honeycutt? I've made a number of arrangements preemptively, such as a flower service and things of that nature, but I'm not sure quite what you feel he would want in this moment for his final days. I know there was a number of people speaking that he might need to be shipped up north, or what kind of arrangements made up north in Grim Village, is that correct? Or I might have just been hearing chatter from servants.
Well, no, I believe we just wanted to inform some of his acquaintances in Grim Village so that they could attend the service if they wished.
Right.
There are no remains really to be shipped after all.
Right then. So I suppose then we are just merely awaiting when you all would like to hold the ceremony and have that done, as well as for when you feel a adequate amount of time has passed that you may return to service of the estate itself.
That is one of the things we wanted to talk to you about, and you'd mentioned a particular thing that was requested directly of us, as well as whatever else may be on the table for us to consider. But I suppose first it would be best to resolve any finalities from our deals in Ravon.
Oh yes, of course. Now, as I reviewed here, we sent you initially on a mission accepted on the behests of the... well, one of the speakers under the king's rule, and with that, the initial request was to seek out a number of goings-on within the far eastern edge of the continent. I was informed months ago that this was done, and so, of course, your journey home had just a number of delays, if I am correct. Might I be so bold as to inquire about the time that no one can seem to account for your whereabouts? You seem to have entered into the tower, but the prince himself returned from its depths far sooner than you and your group.
So the name that is likely well known across Ravon and beyond of Montserrat was the individual we met at the top of the tower. We made an arrangement with him to handle a foe of his in the Feywilds so that he would provide the means to return the prince, who was already dead at that point.
I see. And I do hope you were properly compensated for this endeavor.
Well, the prince did return.
This is true, and there have been a number of people who have spoken quite well of this fact. I didn't want to assume that was all that was bartered for by my seekers. The return of nobility, of course, is a great and mighty benefit to the realm, but I was, I will say I'm unaccustomed to a reward not directly benefiting the home as being all that would be bartered for, but in this instance I can truly understand the meaning behind such things. There was... I beg your pardon?
There was something else, and that has been resolved now, is the reason why that undead fellow was waiting for us.
Oh yes, the one who was in the entryway.
Yeah.
And how did that go?
Not great. Through a number of rather offhanded comments that occurred during our meeting, the offer that was made to us then was to go to work for Montserrat, which wasn't really what I think several of us were interested in, and so that was what we had to resolve with him to send him on his way, though I think that has left Montserrat a bit more soured to us now.
So in this we can, I should say moving forward, we can disregard any requests that come from this Montserrat and his, or their, MMLR station, is that correct?
I wouldn't expect there to be any request. It's been stated we aren't welcome in Ravon now.
Of course. In saying this, she turns and looks to like a stack of parchments and takes them and just immediately throws them in the trash can with a big thud. She goes, so then we can ignore all of that business.
Yeah. As long as everyone doesn't want to go back to Ravon, I kind of looked at the group.
Maybe we should just see what it all is in case there's something of significance that we have to handle.
There are a number of requests that have been made from this Montserrat in your absence. And she kind of like reaches back into the bin, produces like, again, about a big, like a hoagie-style stack of papers. And she's like, there is a modeling request, there are likeness requests, there are requests, I believe, here to refill the oil in the torches within the tower. There is a request for plumbing services. There is a request for vocal talent arrangements. I'm not quite sure what that one's for. And like she goes through and it's a lot of like menial jobs that have all been requested. She's like, I wasn't sure if you wanted to spend time there, as each one is bringing with it a small ransom of a few thousand coins. But if you're also not returning to Ravon at all in this instance, there are more requests that have come in for our home that I can allocate to other groups of Weavers Chosen, if that is at this instance or juncture. Right then. Suffice it to say, you have completed your goal. The prince has been returned safely and now is soon to be king of Ravon and take over the Silver Hearthian throne from his father, which is good to have a proper standing with that instance. Let's see here. Oh yes, proper payment. And she kind of goes and turns and there's like a small box sat, and she hefts it, like moves some papers off the top of it and blows off the top of like a layer of dust as it's been sitting there quite a while. And she sets a small pine wood, like no bigger than about yay big, box on the front of her desk. And she goes, this is for payment in the event of your departure. You will find everything in accordance, provided the capital that was given from the crown itself some months ago at this point. We, of course, have collected the small portion of it that would go to the homestead.
Thank you.
Of course. May it serve you well. Now then, with that business out of the way, is there anything else that you all would like to discuss with my office before we talk about new business, or what you might want to, or when you might want to return to active services therein? I know it has been a long time since you have been back within the city, but there has been much that has changed in the recent months. Everything from ventures far beyond the reaches of the realm itself to all manner of rather interesting occurrences throughout the land.
I'd heard there was an expedition into Ardnum.
Oh yes, the home of Grama sent a contingent of their best and brightest within the reaches of Ardnum. From what I have been able to surmise, they have been wholly successful. Nary a single member of their contingent returned with any sort of ill fate or handicapping condition. I've not heard anything poor, at least. And with that, they seem to have recovered a number of remarkable minerals and resources from what many would call the Plagued Lands. And I have it on good authority that they are currently working to weaponize their finds, as often it is with the House of Grama, to turn any useful find or discovery into a tool to be wielded. I, of course, do apologize as your primary patron, that I was unable to bid for the right to the ticket into Ardnum. I had so very hoped that I would be able to send either your group or one of our other groups through the Smoke Watch ourselves, but it seems that it all worked out quite well. Their reports do speak of a number of concerning events that have transpired throughout Ardnum, but truly we will be advised that once the new prince takes the throne, soon to be king, there'll be a number of discussions between that and Iskander now that open discussion has been restored by both of those primary kingdoms. There was a time where they went dark as well, so it was a bit befuddling, to say the least.
Huh.
Do you know who the contact is at Iskander?
The contact? Yes, I do believe that it is the Queen Under the Mountain. Very little is known about her, but there is an heir apparent, I believe, that happened within Iskander, and throughout a matter of that, the reports are very mired in controversy. I believe the last one had us speaking to a minor civil war under the mountain. A number of individuals have reported back and spoken at length regarding a high noble family producing a one true son under the mountain that would have a claimant for the throne, and I am not quite sure how it turned out, but our emissaries that have returned there and or transpondents of such have spoken at length about a queen, so I'm not quite sure that worked out for whomever.
Gotcha.
Of course.
Speaking of Iskander, last night, when we were having dinner with my folks, we noticed I guess it ended up being a crash of a Iskander vessel.
Oh my.
But we were able to get the survivor, and it seems to be a higher military commander, maybe, perhaps a Durgar fella, a man named Klaus, who is seeking passage back up. that
Mm.
way.
Man named
Um,
Klaus. Okay.
Yes.
Is
Uh,
this Klaus individual looking to hire your services?
Potentially, or even for like a port back or something. Just
Understood.
insurance passage. But I just wanted to make you aware.
So that I might speak plainly in this matter, I do want to address the recent boom in your popularity of sorts. At this point, while we have a number of requests for your services, I do want to make it somewhat open and honest in this regard. I am no longer accepting work or putting work for your consideration at this juncture that will see anything less than 10,000 gold pieces find their way to your pockets. If this Klaus individual wishes to do business, I would greatly recommend that you send him my way, and we can discuss such things as adults. I don't want you... Not that it wasn't a charitable and noble thing to return a man from beyond death, but I do not want you to further waste your time when you are so instilled with the greatness of this land.
He will be returning to the estate to have further discussion, so we'll send him your way then.
Very good. I don't mean to take agency from you, my children, but it does seem to me that your hearts do bleed much heavier than coin purses ought to.
Yeah, probably right.
I thank you for this, Mr. Jones. I simply do feel that there are a number of great things you can accomplish, but if it is going to take you months of your time to do so, may they be fruitful ventures at the least, or at least there be a guarantee of compensation towards you. There's nothing worse to returning home and finding yourselves quite out of sorts financially.
Yes, and that's why, while there were a few things that were of interest, we didn't want to put ourselves on any way towards them until we knew exactly what you had to offer.
Oh, but of course, if you're ready to discuss new business, I have a number of enterprising opportunities that are, well, at your consideration. If that is what we want to discuss now, I don't mean to... Well, I don't want to put you on the spot, my children. I would prefer instead that you take all the time you need to grieve and adequately find yourselves and discuss what it is that you want to do, but if you are at least looking to get that information, I can present them to you as such.
Yes, I do think we may still need a bit more time, but it will help us to know what it is to consider.
Very good. Well then, if we are, just so I am clear, we are completely discrediting everything within Ravon's borders, is that correct?
I'd still like to hear them.
Of course.
If they were of enough interest for you to propose them.
I have roughly a dozen requests or so from Ravon that are of financial interest, to say the least. There are a number of interesting and bemusing things that are currently occurring within that, primarily from the throne of Silverhearth itself, if we were looking to do more kingly duties to the realm.
I don't think that would be up our alley. I that don't sound like it's gonna be a good time.
Oh, okay.
Between Montserrat having returned the prince, the king to be, and then saying that he don't want us there, something tells me that he'll have his eyes, his bony fingers in that mess, and getting ourselves involved certainly sounds like a ticket for trouble.
quite understandable. I could, for these requests, I could have them sent to any of the other numbers of associations, such as the Static. They've returned, and we are currently rebuilding the gems at this juncture, so that should be ready in time for these requests, and should be quite all right. I don't want to leave business on the table to you that the Seekers might not be able to move from without regrets. So if it is not a concise agreement, perhaps we just leave them off the table at this point.
Vel, can you square with that?
Yes, that's likely for the best to not worry about Ravon's affairs.
It is often what I find or hear from many of my children, that on the road it is regret of a path not taken that sours the experience you find yourselves in. Well then, with that business, let us start here. If we are ready then for the 6 or so that I feel are adequately worth your time. She kind of goes through her drawers and kind of pulls out a number of different colored parchments that have all been organized and kind of like stapled together in a way. And she goes, the first request here is actually a bit of a personal one. They did not specifically request you as the Seekers, but have requested additional assistance from the House Gulanti. This is a bit of a... well, it's a sordid affair. I have never, in my time, found those I call the gems to fail me in the field, and unfortunately this seems to have been the case. I make it no small part to note that this is a highly dangerous endeavor, and as I say rebuilding, we have but a single member of the original chosen of the gems still among us today, so I do bade you to consider that in your discussions. The request comes to us from the Maharaja of Vol Tiris, out of the southern lands of Valtora. There have been a number of requests for members, and rather weavers chosen, under my banners to return and right the accusatory wrongs said to have been made by the gems. Much in the way of your previous endeavor was half done by the Static, of which we are now in discussions to resolve. This task originally was to take a number of secrets and attempt to find passage into the City of Floating Fortunes. Throughout this endeavor, it would seem that something has been awakened within the sands of Valtora, and it is now imposing a large threat upon the land. Their ruler is currently preoccupied with keeping the peace and requires a bit of divinity in assistance with this new looming threat.
Did they say what exactly has been awoken?
They did not. However, I have spoken at this point with Tella Foro, the sole surviving member of the team, who has spoken to me at length about the loss of her sisters, and now I have pieced together that they have awoken an ancient spirit of sorts of the sands, a previous ruler, a dead conqueror of the lands that has now summoned forth an army from beyond the ages, and is presently preoccupied with making a march upon the city. I believe they are calling themselves the Swarm.
Okie dokie.
Can I do a history check
Yeah,
on...
same.
I'll assist whoever.
What?
Just an ancient
This
ruler
one.
of Valtora that would have been like who this could be? Kind of.
Even with a correct history check, Valtora is a long and sordid kind of continent. With that, it could be any of their dead lords or any of their previous rulers. It's one of those like, what's like the correct term? Like, it's like looking at a Thurian legend and being like, okay, which knight is the bad one? It's like, well, all of them are kind of dicks.
Yeah. Would there be any significance to the name the Swarm?
From what she'll tell you, because she has like a lot of like the information, it's not a name they've given themselves. It's a name that the people have attributed to this. Many of them have just spoken of, and she'll tell you the details that the armies that are arising out of the sands are like clay dolls, and many of them are non-humanic. They seem to be of like these large kind of insectoid type creatures.
Cool.
Cool. She looks over the group and she goes, might there be any questions about that request?
How soon are they looking to have that handled?
The request,
pretty immediate?
yes, the request came in so many months ago, but I didn't feel that I adequately had a team that could tackle this endeavor. At this point, if I do not have confirmation by week's end, I will have to take this request and actually have it offered to a different house to fill in if they have anyone available. At week's end as well, we would also lose our opportunity and window to traverse through conventional means, and it would require a portion of the reward to be spent on transportation services for your group. Namely, teleportation.
Understood.
Of course. With that as well, we have a... if I might move on to the next request? Mm-hmm. Very good. So then, there is a request coming out far from the south as well. A small village known as Murkwater. I believe they are just to the west of the Poisoned Hills. A community that has stood for a number of generations among the natural and dangerous wildlife of the southern continents of Aurelia. With that, the village itself is offering quite a handsome sum of capital for any assistance that can be laid for their aids against foreign powers. The current information I have been able to garner beyond the primary requests is that at this point, the people of Ilzer are making a political movement to the south, and they seek to, shall we say, collect a number of the southern cities and unify them under their banners. It is for this reason that this amount that is being offered is quite a sum, as it would be the final resistance against a political movement by the people of Ilzer. You seem to hold confusion upon your face, Celeste. Might you have a question? No?
So, it's politics. I see involved.
Politics to an extent. I have never known the people of Ilzer to find themselves within a diplomatic arrangement, shall we say. They are quite aggressive peoples when they have something they want.
Is this movement indeed led by the Duchess?
I can neither confirm nor deny at this time. All of my birds in the area have been quite quickly dispatched by the snakes of the swamp. Whatever it is that is being done, it is being done very close to the chest with the people of Ilzer. As far as I am aware, the Duchess still holds power at this instance.
Out of character question.
Mhm.
The Ashlands, Melkar, which would be in between the two.
Yep.
Would that be part of Kragmaw, or would that be a separate city?
No, it is a separate city. Everything within the swamps of Ilzur, which is the flooded spire in Kragmaw, were the predominant area of their lands.
Okay.
And for those of you paying attention in chat, Melkar has long since already fallen.
DM, could we get this region on the map in the center of the screen
Oh yeah, sure.
for reference?
All right, so
Yeah.
weep beep 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 beep. This is Ravon. We're never going there again. The first area is in Valtora, just past Agony Bay, within Voltiris, which is right here on the edge next to the Seeker's Well. And the floating city is within the Sea of Sand. That is where our first operation would be offered. The
They
second...
named the lake after us?
Can I what? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they named a lake after you. How about that? How about that? The next request is over here, just after the Silzasha Strait, which is Murkwater Village, right next to the Poisoned Hills. It is the northernmost village against the great oceans and the straits, just to the north of the jungles. And with that, they are suspecting the people of Ilzur, which are the northeastern influences, which Vel and many of you would probably know are predominantly Yuan-Ti.
With the time that we lost, what has become of the Ashlands and Melkar?
Oh, both have gone quite dark under the scales of Ilzur. As well as the Ashlands, they also currently predominantly control much of the shield of Ilzur, completely dominating their coastal regions. I've also been informed that the Bay of the Dawnflower now houses a number of scaled hides within its bays and shores. It is my assumption as well that the Blossom is under control of Ilzur, and they are making a very large, sweeping play to collect as much region as they're able to put under Talon. The timetable for this one, I will say, is at your discretion. The sooner, of course, being the better, but we have not been given a declaration at this point from the people of Murkwater. I do believe they're just mustering forces at this point.
Alright, let's talk about what else there is.
Of course. So with that, there has been a call that has actually been passed on to us from the Destra family, which I found no shortage of bemusement at. The Anvil Islands are home to a city known as Exeter. It is a city that has sat on the northern coast of the southernmost island, and with it, it houses one of the only accessible points to the city of Undermoor, a large and territorial place through which the denizens who prefer to live below the surface find their cohabitation. There has been a number of disturbances within the Anvil Islands of late. I have heard a number of concerning and distressing reports from this area, but chief among them, the Destra family does feel that their interests are not being adequately conveyed at this juncture. They are predominantly a people who utilize the natural resources of the Anvil Islands to produce scroll paper and ink, as it is a number of naturally occurring elements there that they can predominantly use for production. It would seem that the city of Undermoor has taken a number of, well, shall we say, concerns to the Destra family, predominantly of that of trade and equal sharing of the land of the surface. They're looking for in no uncertain terms, persons that are more apt to deal in trade, or at the very least enforce their will upon the people of the land. I will admit as well, the pay for this one, while rather low, comes with a contingent, or rather a, shall we say, summation. That additional payment will be performance-based in this regard. It would also allow us a bit more influence and charity towards the Destra family that we could later utilize should we need services of mages or the like, of which they find themselves in constant need.
Did House Destra not send their own to this first?
Well, I also express concerns about this, but there are a number of things I believe internally that they are struggling with. A number of recent excursions far beyond the city limits has seen some of their best and brightest beaten and broken, requiring more time to have them return to service. It was one of my concerns when your arrival and return to the estate took quite a while. I had partially expected serious or grievous injuries to befall you and your group as well. I was quite excited instead to see that my children had returned mostly unscathed. I know you're pointing at your eyes there, but I believe that happened in my lobby, not out in the field, Mr. Jones. And I'm fairly sure you can still see, and you're just screwing with me.
That's Mr. Julie Judd.
Oh goodness, I'm sorry, you two are just... There's a number of striking similarities between the two of you.
Because we're short, huh?
You're short and you act quite alike. Almost as if you're brothers or something. Perhaps you're long lost. Do you happen to know your father's name, Mr. Jones? Mr. Judd, do you happen to know yours?
I can't say I do, ma'am.
If you'd like, I can send a detective to investigate that.
Are you talking about my father or my daddy?
You know, I don't feel comfortable with this conversation any further, so I will leave it there.
Orville, wouldn't your father's name also be Orville because you're the third?
Ooh, this is a good point.
Well, I never really thought about it, but I've gotten along this way, not having to think about it, and I was perfectly happy continuing on, but here we are.
Mr. Judd, did you just name yourself the third? This whole time?
Can I history check myself to see if I remember?
Sure, whatever you'd like.
Oh yeah, that's a 17 plus. That's a 21.
Okay, let me ask
so
the person who
Orville
wrote
definitely remembers.
Yeah, okay, so let me ask the person. So, James, do you want to be named after your daddy, or did you name yourself? You know either way.
No, we went with the third because it sounds prestigious.
Okay, there we go, okay. So yeah, it comes to light and she goes, "Oh my goodness, well, weavers bless it. It has worked out for you so far."
Yeah, I named myself pretty fancy, and here I am today, so
yes, truly,
all right.
Nothing more fancy than being the third of the first of the thirds.
So are you like 1/3 then?
That's what I was going to call him, Orville 1/3.
Good old 1/3. Okay, well, Anyway, yes. Any further questions regarding the Anvil Islands and the request for the Destra family?
So it's more trade negotiations, but a will to enforce what they desire. Do we know exactly who the workers are that are causing this kerfuffle for House Destra?
As far as I've been made aware, it is not so much the workers that are, shall we say, fighting against the home. Instead, it is the people of the city of Undermoor that have recently made themselves a bit more prevalent within their lands, and now seeking compensation and rights to the surface as well as the, well, shall we say, the Undermoor.
Right, so Destra's were they working outside of the city or in the city?
They work outside of the city of Undermoor. They
Okay.
own Exeter. Is their city of the Anvil. The Anvil Islands are, as you're probably quite aware, split between the three great houses. I myself own land within the western edges and throughout Midden. We find a number of very profitable stones that are then converted into jewelry and the like from the Anvil Islands, and I believe House Grama finds a number of successes within the city of Shipwreck, and we've now since heard that Blackwater Cove has become quite operational again, which for a time it was thought lost to the family itself, and now predominantly seems to be back onto the trading market.
And Blackwater Cove is not associated with any particular house, though?
No, from what I have been able to hear from my birds, there were a contingent of individuals that seemed to have arrived quite unexpectedly following a storm among the Anvil Islands, and this group found themselves mired in the controversies of the Anvil Islands before restoring Blackwater Cove to functional order.
DM?
Yes.
Could I roll insight to see how much this might sound like our old friend Trenton Quass?
Sure, go right ahead.
All right. It's going to be 14.
14. Thinking it over, the Anvil Islands are places that Trenton would have interest in. Primarily, they are a business person first, and a lot of other BS second. It wouldn't be, with a 14 especially, it wouldn't be quite unheard of that there'd be an interest in establishing a trade route in the Anvil Islands, especially one that is an entire cove to be used as production and trade routes.
Or we'll go ahead and bring that up to the group. You all remember that fellow Trenton Quass way back? That looks like something that might be up his alley. JJ, do you think you can get in touch with him if he's still on this plane?
I could. I need to get back in touch with Fortune as well. Fortune still might be traveling with
Just
him.
a curiosity. Nothing pressing.
I'm not gonna lie. If I could just bring up something, this task that Destra has us or wants us or someone to do sounds a lot like what we did for the logging camp down south.
And that it does. That it does.
Would that be...
Sounds to me like they're trying to hire some cops.
Essentially. Yes, Lady Galante.
I do apologize for interrupting. Would that have been the people of Taiba Village? I saw their names plastered over a few articles of mail that were sent your way, and I was quite confused, to say the least, about where it had come from.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, good. We recently bought a number of supplies from the Opalwood logging, so I was unsure if that was just a discount provided to the estate on good faith, or perhaps if that was something you all had to do with it, so I am glad to finally put that concern to rest. Thank you so much.
So we helped them with a worker dispute.
Oh, good. Well then, any other concerns regarding the Anvil Islands request, or things you wish to know about it? I have 3 additional requests that I think would be well worth your time and effort.
Who are the people of the city of Undermore who naturally are from there?
I truthfully do not have a lot of information about Undermoreans. They are cloistered people. They typically do not go past the Black Gate that is their kind of entrance to their homelands. Truthfully, not as much is known. They are not very welcoming to foreigners. When the people of the Destra home spoke about establishing a city to the southeastern island, we raised a number of concerns due to the encroachment upon the entrance to the city of Undermore. But they seem to have waved them off and come to agreeable terms, at least so many generations ago, and we've truthfully not had much business to do over there, so I've paid it no mind.
I think I'm good to hear the next request.
The rest of you, all good to go? Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
This one was one that personally came through in a rather strange thing. She reaches through the documents and pulls out this bright, almost like cherry blossom, pink and red letter that has like this kind of like almost embossed looking feel to it, like it's like a textured envelope. She goes, "This one came directly for you as seekers, so I assume it's someone you've met in your travels before." She sets the letter down and then kind of shows this folded up request. Through the request, it kind of like just lists off and states that deep within the lands of the north of Orskoth, there lies a hidden and forgotten temple to the Weavers within the Frigid Well. Enclosed within this document are the ways in which you can discern the entrance to the well itself and find what the Weavers have left behind. It is signed with the kind of like a dash, and it just says Rattle.
At the Frigid Well?
Yep, I will move the map. Sorry, hold on. Boop, boop, boop. Everweald. Which is up north in Orskoth. Right below the main text of Orskoth, there is the Frigid Well. The city is Riska. And, of course, with that enclosed is a very well-worn and kind of beaten map that seems to show the lake itself and a number of, like, strange-looking, like, lettering that seems to be both in Abyssal, Dwarven, and Elven, and it seems to be, like, translated multiple times over, as if someone's taken, like, an ink quill and written over it, and then translated it to a different language, and then translated it again. The map seems quite old.
Does the name Rattle mean anything to anybody?
Yeah, I was gonna do a history check on Rattle.
Sure, go right ahead.
That's a nat 20, please.
Nat 20, there you go. The name Rattle could mean any number of things to you. There isn't any historical figures nor people of popular significance that use that as their kind of name. You assume, though, in the way it's written and looking it over, as far as like penmanship, that it seems as if this is not the full name of this individual. It seems to be kind of like a go-by or something shorthanded. I will say, with a natural 20, looking over the requested letter, it seems to have been not the first draft of this. As you look it over, it seems as if people, like the letter itself has been written multiple times over for revision before it was finally sent.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let me see here. Oh, with that as well. You do note and discern as well on the request that there is what looks like at one point would have been like an addendum to the bottom of the request. At the bottom of it, it mentions a long forgotten item left deep within the well that would be appreciated to be recovered.
And is there an offer of pay for the item returned?
You look it over, and it doesn't seem like there's an offer of payment. You do note on the back of the kind of like envelope, there is a collection of very pushed together runes that seem to be Sylvan in nature.
It's not something that I can read, is it?
If you can read Sylvan, you can.
I can.
Yeah. You look them over, and it actually kind of like states out as you're kind of like reading it over. Let me make sure I have. Let me double check my notes real quick. Uno momento, por favor. Make sure, because I have it written down in two places, unfortunately. Boop, boop, beep, bop, bop, beep, boop. Here. Oh yes. It says care of JCH in Sylvan on the back, and there seems to be an arcane code that one could utilize in a ritual to contact someone. Kind of looks like the sending spell a bit.
Alright. I will give everybody that information.
Did the initials JCH strike any sort of?
Yeah, John Cavill Hendrickson, Jimmy Charles Hendricks, Jules Charles Williford.
Charles.
It's always Charles. Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna make up like. No, it's one of those things where it's like you probably want to contact the person. If they wanted to include more information, they would, but it seems like they were very concise in what they wanted, which is to get this map, this ancient thing, into your hands and make you aware of it. The lady will tell you, and she goes, "Well, I know I would only accept requests if they were worth your financial time. I did have our scribes review this map, and they can attest that it is a genuine article, and of that, no one has explored the Frigid Well in quite some time. If this is to be believed as a way to a, shall we say, forgotten thing left by the Weavers, I felt it was my duty to present it to the best of the Weavers chosen in my employ. Plus, it had your name on the front." You look at it, and it is like very fancifully done. It says 2 Seekers.
Did she just call us the best? Let's go!
I mean, that was what was said when we got back and we learned the gems. are very, very dead, except for one. That's one of the reasons we're the best. We succeeded. You know.
Yeah, we're the best at not dying. Let's go, us.
You are very good at not dying, except for of the people who have died in your services. Weavers rest his soul.
Yep.
Yes.
Ah.
Yes, then. There's not much more I can answer regarding the letter on this, other than it is as it appears. I can confirm that there's no malice or any type of, pain that is intended in its writing. And from what we can infer, it at the very least might be someone who found your popularity via the MMLR broadcasts, I can only assume.
Well, certainly the most mysterious to consider.
Of course. Might we move on to the next one?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. The next one I have here is actually, now I probably should take this one away. Actually, now that I mention it, I probably should not. It is a request from the people of Silverhearth, but it is not technically a Ravon request. The people of the Bazulan colony have written in for a request from us. I'm not sure if you made interaction with them or not, but it does come on behalf of the people of Silverhearth, as that is their most northern colony in Orskath. The people of the Bazulan colony, let me move the map, have sent in a request here for services and assistance. A number of, what they are calling the creatures from the depths have washed ashore in the colony. They are calling for aid and response of those able to defeat and combat the darkness that has emanated from the northern waters. Their request here also states that these creatures have washed up lifeless and then come to life upon reaching the surface, many of them seeming to be frozen within the cold winter waters. The sum is a handsome promise and well above your current going rate.
These creatures, are they described merely as undead, or is there anything else to them?
Not sure. From the listing here, they've included an image, and she kind of turns and looks and shows it to you, and there's this sketch drawing, and you look and it is this large kind of bulbous headed creature that seems like a swollen head with a number of long kind of lanky bodily tendrils, and that's kind of what it is. It kind of almost looks like a massive squid of some kind. And she goes, this is what they put. It seems amateurish at best, but I would assume these are some terrible type of creatures that are washing ashore. I would probably assume them to be of Otnam, but I cannot say for certain, and with the colony bearing allegiance to Silverhearth, I was not sure that I should truly consider this, and I do apologize for that oversight.
It's alright.
It doesn't require us going there. It's fine enough by us, I suppose.
Very good. Might you have any further questions regarding this? And she hands the documentation over to you. They are also looking for this to be resolved as soon as possible, if at all.
Right. I don't think I have any questions. It seems pretty straightforward, but just not knowing what we'd be dealing with.
Yes, that would of course be the danger in any work we accept.
Mm-hmm.
With that, there is but a final request, and it's a bit closer to home. There is a request that has come in from a Mr. Thon Thuin. of Grim Village, shockingly enough. He is currently presently seeming to build a new establishment within the village and expand upon his owned lands, and is looking for a number of people to protect the work site, as a number of people have become injured over the course of doing business there. The promise is quite a handsome sum, to say the least, and they are looking to contract you for the month. Or rather, anyone able to be contracted for a month.
Quite the invested time. What exactly has been causing the injuries?
From here, it seems to me, and she kind of presents the documentation, and she kind of tells you too. She goes, from what I am able to surmise from his request, it seems at first there were just a number of very curious accidents on the worksite. People dropping tools, a number of folks just haphazardly causing workplace incidents and issues within therein. And now they are presently facing dangers of a number of individuals that seem to call the lands and villages their own. Chief among them, there seems to be a collective of individuals, from what I can see here, that are previous military that seem to be impressing their will upon his worksite.
Previous military of Grim Village?
I'm not quite sure. And she shows you the paperwork, and she goes, he doesn't clarify in his request. But you can see here, and like points to it, and the offered sum is, for 30 days' work, it's 10,000 gold pieces a week.
JJ.
Yes, ma'am.
Dawn to win. TT.
Yeah. Miss Galante,
Yes, ma'am.
do you happen to know if there's any sort of connection or partnership with the Scimitar Group in Grim Village?
The Scimitar Group.
Yeah, I think they're the Cross Scimitars.
Oh, I have heard a number of things regarding them. Apparently, they banded together to make the passage, the Northern Passage, from the city of Deerwood over to the northern approach to Grim Village and into the White Wilds a bit more safe. I believe they are some type of highway folk that have claimed Hunter's Reach as their own. A number of people expressed decent concerns about it, but it seems as if the predominant issues with them can be easily resolved with a few coins.
Okay, well. The reason why I ask is because one of their folks killed my father last night.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
It's just I don't feel right working with Grim Village if they're working with them in particular.
Of course, I very much would understand that as well, and might I first start by saying my absolute condolences for your father and your mother?
Thank you.
Of course. Do we need to send individuals to make sure your family homestead is secured? I can spare a number of our estate guard to stand watch over the small village, and
I do appreciate it. However, I think that they've found a way to handle securing the ranch
very
for
good
now.
then.
But yeah, that's my big question, is if perhaps you've heard anything, especially since this pertains to working with Grim Village and the like, and if perhaps some folks see the scimitars as a safety net of their own for whatever reason. Why they haven't hired them.
From what I've heard, at the very least, these individuals are very much swords for hire, and they are very much individuals that are possessed of money-making investment and opportunity, we shall say. I am not sure that they have anything to do with Grim Village, but it would make quite a bit of sense for that to be the case, as a number of people within Grim Village have been, shall we say, forced out from their homes. It has been a very difficult winter for the people in the village, and hearing that a number of individuals are now working with the scimitars does seem to... well, it does seem to play quite well with what I've overheard in this instance.
Thank you.
Of course. Might there be anything that I could personally send to either your family or do for you in this time, Miss Lightning?
No, I appreciate it, but
We could cover funeral costs, or...
Yes, Miss Val.
Had that family paperwork to be filed and kept safe.
Oh, goodness. Yes. There is... I'm so sorry. It's been a wild 48 hours, to be honest. If there was some way that I could set up like a safety deposit box or a bank of some sort, there's some important family paperwork and information that I would like to keep safe here in town.
Of course. Do you have it with you?
Yes, I do.
Very good, then. I will, I can have this set up right away if you provide that documentation. I'll have it kept within my own vaults, and we will have it placed on the city record. That way all the documentation is exactly as it needs to be, and there are now, or would be, copies of all the information you have.
Thank you so much. I'll bring that to you after our meeting.
Very good. And please, if there's anything I can do for you, do let me know.
Thank you, ma'am.
Of course. But with that does conclude the open business that I have available to you as the Seekers of Galanti. Truthfully, I was hoping that I would be able to offer more to you in these busy seasons, as there is more work than there is hands to go around at this point, but I trust that you all will have a knowledge and a care about yourselves to accept the work that you feel is fitting.
Well, we were discussing a route for some personal matters that I believe are Orville's to share his interest to make way towards Cloudview Village, which could lead us on a path to handle a few of these things. If everyone would be interested in going to the Barzulian colony and then the Frigid Well afterwards, it's possible we could.
You know, I was going to suggest that as well.
I'm not going to lie. It allows us to do the most. Personally, I'm very interested in what's going on in Murkwater. But this is a group decision on what we do. Orville, have you asked the lady about the letter that you got?
No, I haven't. It didn't really occur to me. Orville will produce the letter and slide it across the table to Lady Galanti.
The lady holds it and kind of looks it over and looks at the back of it, sees just the symbol upon this, and looks it over, and she goes, "Oh, so you received one as well, then? Very good of you."
As well?
Yes. One of these, letters arrived not that long ago, for the Protector of the Soul. Miss Furrow had received one as well, and we determined that it to be an invitation to Cloudview Village and the Sky Peaks. Apparently, it is some formation of a... I'm not quite sure the correct term, but from what we've been made aware of, it seems to be a festival of sorts.
Huh. That's not what I thought it was, but, Did we determine, was there a time for that festival determined?
Yes, I do believe it is to commence within just a few months now. It is to bring about the next season. I believe, and if my birds are to be believed on this one, I believe it is for the One Under the Sky festival.
Is there any illusion in that? Does that allude to anything? Could I check history?
You can check history on this one.
All right.
Mhm.
All right. What do the brain cells say when they're rubbed together? Ooh. 17 plus 4. 21.
21. With the 21, this actually kind of rings a little bit in your ears to a twitch. You have heard of something like this before. In fact, it happens about once every 10 years or so. You know it to not be a festival, you know it to be a tournament. You know it to be specifically a tournament where the world's strongest fighters are all invited to battle it out and bring into the new season. The winner of such will be called the One Under the Sky.
Oh, that's a mighty tournament for mighty folks. And they're inviting. Wow, they're inviting me. Wow.
I am not sure as to the reason of your inclusion in the tournament, or if it is as you say, but I will say that it might be a bit of your popularity has caught up with you.
Might be. Might have to do with that thing I fished out of the crater.
The thing you fished out of the crater?
Oh.
Oh, you haven't heard. Oh,
You've done fishing, I assume? Is that noteworthy of any reason?
No, it doesn't have anything to do with fishing. Lady G, if you'll excuse me real quick, I will be back lickety split.
All
You
right.
don't keep that on you?
You don't keep. He doesn't keep that on him?
It's in his room.
Just sitting in the corner. Just laid. There's 7 kobold weapons that do not leave this guy's hands, but then freaking Orville's just corner.
It's a stick.
JJ's just gonna stand there completely aghast.
Look, it's a
mouth.
goblin who owns a stick. Who in their right mind is gonna go try and take a stick from a goblin?
Kobold
By the way,
Jones.
I do have all 7 of my weapons on me.
Orville will full Naruto sprint down the halls both directions to retrieve the stick.
Full run. Absolute full burst run. While Orville goes and retrieves that legendary item he procured from nearly dying in a crater. Let's take 5 minutes right there. We'll take a little 5-minute break. It's 9:18 right now. Let's come back at it at 9:23. That seems good. 5 minutes, guys. We'll see you guys back in just 5 minutes. If you're sticking with us after the break, I appreciate you. See you in a bit. Peace. Hey, and we are back. Let me turn down the music back again. Whoop-a-doop-a-doop. There we go. Hey, everyone. Thank you for sticking with us after the break. Welcome back to Second Wake. That rhymed. Everyone who stuck with us after the break, as always, you're our level 20 characters. We certainly appreciate you. We want to try to make sure we get out at 10 tonight. We got a couple things planned for the players tomorrow. We do have a Nova Bean. I love Nova Bean. Little pupper. And Orville doth return with stick in hand to the office of the Lady Galanti. We're jumping right back into it. Hope you guys are having a great night. Don't forget to stretch. All right, Orville, you return with the stick. And the Lady Galante kind of looks you over. So this is the thing you got? Is that what I'm to understand?
Yeah, that's it's a stick.
It is indeed a stick.
He'll hold it up, kind of twirl it, and do a nice little like 360 flourish with it.
Hmm. As you do this, you see her kind of like pensively kind of take her index and thumb and lightly stroke one of her earrings, and you see like the very faintest of those of you see it quite easily because of your true sight, but you see a little bit of arcane energy release from her earring and kind of wash over the scope of her eyes. And she goes, oh my, and where did this lovely thing come from?
For lack of better understanding, Lady G, the sky.
The sky. Okay, well that's very good.
And,
do you mean to keep this item, I assume, or might you want to have a proper offer made on the home of the estate?
I think it has a home with me. I must politely decline that offer, but
of course,
it spoke to me last night in my dreams, and yeah, I think it belongs with me.
Very good then. Well, I will just use this as a time to remind you that certainly, if you are able to, in this instance, ever, or I rather should say, if ever you find yourself at need with a trinket in your travels that you no longer require or have use of, that you bring them to us first, so that we may make a proper offer to you and that you do not get shortchanged on the road. And that goes for all of you, of course. Any number of things can be rather dangerous, but we deal in all manner of mercantile goods here, and as members of my family, I of course want to look out for you first and foremost.
Wait, can you tell what something is just by looking at it?
I can tell a number of things by looking at them, yes.
And I'll reach in my bag, and I'm going to pull out that gold acorn.
The gold acorn? She immediately looks it over, and she goes, I'm curious, where did this come from?
The Feywild.
She reaches into her desk and produces a bit of parchment, rolls it out flat, and takes a quill that is made of pure silver. It has actually it's supposed to look like a feather, but you can tell that it has been intricately made of silver. She lightly taps it into a inkwell, and then taps the tip of the quill against the acorn and sets it down, and you see the quill start to write and kind of go through. She says, well, that's handling. I will have an answer for you shortly, my friend.
All right,
That's cool as shit.
It comes with the territory. You need to be able to know what you are buying and selling in, my dear. I will say, Mr. Jones, if there is anything you'd want in trade for this once we find out what it is for, I would handsomely offer you a good ransom for it. I tend to enjoy things that have been gilded in gold. And jewels, especially.
Alright, well, I guess we'll see what it is. It was a gift, so...
Oh, it's a gift, of course. Then you wouldn't want to re-gift it. There are a number of people this time of year that tend to take gifts and offer them once again. It comes with winter, unfortunately.
Yeah, but, we'll see what it is, and then, I don't know. Thank you.
Of course. For the remainder of our Seekers of Galante, might there be anything else that I can answer or assist you in any manner?
Yes, maybe. when I lost my arm, I chose to use a radical means of replacement,
Yes.
and it has connected me to creatures from which we know to be in Ardenum. Powerful creatures, of which has allowed me to tap a bit of their power for my own means, but it has also allowed them a means to watch me and, in one instance, control me, and I was able to find means to prevent that, the control anyways. But I find them and their voices taunting and threatening me, and I would ask if there's a means to find expert opinion on how I can better handle this.
Oh, well, matters of Artnum are still very much unknown to many of us. We don't predominantly have a people that is from those plagued lands, and many of those who have ventured further, especially under the might of Silverhearth, would have us believe that those who have remained beyond the border where the last weavers fell, supposedly, are quite far beyond the reaches of sanity and reason. If you have crafted an item befitting Artnum itself, I would perhaps suggest you go speak to the person who made it for you. They might be able to offer more insight, as often artificers and the like can see further into a material than us of the common views.
Thank you. I was thinking of going to speak with them, but I'm glad to have your better understanding of what I have done and your advice, but I will speak with them.
Very good. You see the quill stop writing, and she looks it over, and she goes, "Oh, well, this is truly a delightful thing." And she hands it over to Kobold Jones.
Alright, I'll try to read it.
Mm-hmm. You have received an acorn of the bestial. It is a golden, gilded acorn, worth no less than 500 gold pieces, and once per day can be used to cast the Summon Beast spell as if it was cast at a 5th level spell slot. And for everyone playing at home, Summon Beast is available via the book Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Buy your copy today. Or find it on D&D Beyond. Not sponsored. It's a good
It's
book.
cool.
Pretty cool book.
Jones, I can identify most magical items as well. You don't have to bring them all to her lady unless you are intending to get an offer from the house.
If you are looking to receive an offer from the house, then please let me know, and I would be more than happy to assign a gold value for this.
I'm gonna hold on to it for now, but
Of course.
keep that in mind.
See that you do. Would you like a case for it so it doesn't get all scuffed up in your bag, or maybe we could put it on a chain just so it's cared for in the event you want to sell it one day?
I'll think about it.
Well, you know what? You think about that. And she reaches into her desk and produces a small little, like, it almost looks like a case you'd put, like, a collectible in. And she kind of just slides it across the table to you. And she goes, in the event you need to put that back in your backpack, then at least you have some prevention of it hitting any of those many weapons you keep back there.
Alright, thank you.
You're welcome. You're quite welcome.
I'll take it.
Yes. Well then, my seekers, might there be any other business we need to discuss at this juncture, or should I wait for your return towards accepting new work and arrangements for Mr. Honeycutt's untimely demise?
I'd like to just bring up the other matters that we were hoping to look into, most of which lie north of here, which is why those offers that you present from the region, I think, are the most interest to several of us. I believe we do wish to make way to Grim Village to, at some point, solve the mystery of who is responsible for the murder of JJ's father and bring that matter to justice.
While I can't offer a financial reward for such a task or quest of personal bearing, at the very least, allow me to say that should you have any need of heading northward for any of the other unrelated matters that could be offered to you, please allow me at the very least to provide onto your association acceptable transportation. As well as supplies for a long venture.
Yes, the winter is cold.
Quite. And many folks would sooner take horses there than actual usable cavalry. Again, while I cannot openly be involved in personal matters of the Weavers Chosen themselves, as they are in my estate, if there is anything at all that you can think of that you might require in performing your normal job duties, please let me know, and we will speak no more of it in that instance.
But then, if we are to take the request of the Barzulian colony, depending upon how your discussion with Mr. Klaus goes, perhaps we will be able to escort him to Iskander as well.
Very good.
Knowing that there is a mystery at the Frigid Well would be on our way. We did receive one thing in the mail, which we discerned to be a request for a meeting by a rather revolutionary fellow from southern Ravan in Thule. And
I will state this much of Thule and its sunken gardens. Should you seek a meeting of anyone within the trappings of Thule, I would ask that you be very much on guard. Thule has, for generations now, been a rather curious place for those who the world has otherwise forgotten of. There is a reason why it is very close to a fort owned by Silverearth. This revolutionary of yours, would I happen to know them?
Perhaps their name has crossed your ears. And we certainly crossed their path before heading off to Montserrat. It was the Black Ram.
Oh yes, the individual I believe I had heard reports from our gnomish associate. How do you... and I suppose I should speak to all of you on this. How do you feel of that man? A revolutionary he is in name, but in action he has done very little to collect power, in a sense. I feel that if you muddle the mixture of his purpose and your being, or rather goals, there would be no separating the two. That is to say, I would be open to the idea of perhaps subtly funding a number of interested parties, provided that there is concessions to be made.
Would you be able to provide a list of the concessions you'd require?
Of course, I'd be more than happy to draft them into a letter. Of course, it would have to be unsigned and very much deniable in the event that things turn unfortunate. But at the very least, if that is something that my seekers are considering, I would have a number of things that would be of interest to my office personally. What do the rest of you feel of this Black Ram?
Never met him. Sounds like a cool guy, though. Cool name.
I think quite a few of us have perhaps mixed feelings about Black Ram in particular. Perhaps that his supposed cause seems at least somewhat just. But some of our personal experiences with him truly have left a dent, perhaps, in how we see him.
Hmm. And of the rest of you?
I don't have any feelings towards him, one way or the other. I don't know the dude.
Fair enough. And Orville?
I don't like the fella, but I'll work with him.
If you might allow me this concession to speak openly about my own thoughts on this.
Of course.
Please, go
Very
Yeah.
good.
right ahead.
I will of course trust that nothing I say here will leave these four walls. To say the least, in my position and time here of watching over things and discussing on matters both political and financial, there is a stirring in the air and a number of curious things of which we do not have answers when it comes to Silverhearth. I have heard that this revolutionary, this Ram individual, is well loved by the people of Aurelia, at least those of the border cities. I find myself at a time where I can no longer discern whether or not that I have made my own way in this world, or if my name is but a way to entrap me, to make me a prisoner of my own privilege, if you would say so. The thing that I am currently always curious about is when revolutionaries are being brought up, they have a number of interesting trappings. Many are often quick to resort and say that violence is a very hefty necessity, and that such war speak is very frightening to those. However, I often find myself in opportunities that would allow support of these issues. To say nothing of it, or nothing further in that instance, such revolutionary conquests can often be plays of which we can turn for both financial futures as well as for political favor. If you were looking to support this individual's claimant for revolution among Ravon, and as you speak now you don't wish to do business in Ravon, I would be very curious as to what we could be offered in exchange for your and my support of this individual. If that rings true to you.
That is, amongst the reasons why I have surely had a consideration to have this meeting with him, and it pleases me to hear you say that, but I know we are conflicted on the matter, and it is not one that I am certain we will have a meeting or not. It is still one of great group, I believe.
To that, I will further say, my house has always remained neutral, as is the will of this city and its various noble houses. Whatever you choose, I will support, as always. I find that you are, and truly all Seekers, all of the Weavers chosen in my employ, are the best and brightest that this world has to offer, that all of the Everwield itself might yet provide to us and our people. When it comes to what is occurring in Silverhearth, I find myself advised of a number of matters that would see that we are well secured. However, I have a number of distressing concerns, not regarding the newly crowned, recently dead prince, but rather, I suppose you'd call them the man behind the throne. Those who are truly pulling the strings. With the previous king, it was a council. It was pride and honor and duty. With this new heir of the throne itself, there are a number of distressing things, and to hear you enter into my office today and speak no more of Ravon gives me great pause and hesitancy to continue to deal within that country. If we are being quite transparent.
From what we dealt with and the threats made by Montserrat's associates after we declined their offer to work for them, to serve them and their interests, I have a great deal, many fears of what is occurring in Silverhearth and all of Ravon. For whatever the true intentions Montserrat has for all of the Everwield, I do not fully understand yet. But all that I do know is that he is an incredibly powerful undead. And I know that he has either the prince under his control or in his agreements at this point.
Well then, I will provide my full support to this meeting of this Black Ram, and I will await hearing back from you on that regard. To that as well, I did have another item to provide. And she reaches into her desk and she's like, it's been quite some time, I had nearly forgotten. And she produces a stone very similar to the one that was previously handed to JJ, but it seems to be more like constructed and well made. She goes, this has been repurposed by the artificers of the house, and while you are on these long ventures, I would very much appreciate being somewhat kept in the loop of things as you transition from one job to another, especially as it seems to be your intent to take on multiple things upon your plate. This device will allow you to contact me more frequently than our previous needs. I have spared no expense in this, and truly, if you are, as the Seekers, to be the best of my employ, I very much would like to be a bit more involved, should you have any needs that I can facilitate. Well, rather, I could assist you in.
I am very grateful for this.
As am I. There's quite a few times where we would have liked to have been in contact with you, just to check in.
Of course. Whoever wants
but
to
yes.
take it. Sorry. Whoever wants to take that, please write that you have a a complete sending stone to Lady Galanti.
Well, JJ, you can actually do sending, so
Mhm.
yeah, I guess I'll take it if everyone's cool with that.
Cool with me?
Truth be told, I'd probably try and fart into it and get us all fired.
Listen, as long as you impress her with it, I don't think we'll get fired. But the reasons that like Orville and Jones are near the bottom of who should have it is prank calls.
It's 3 a.m.
Hey, Lady Galanti!
Hey,
Is
old
your
girl, you up?
refrigerator running? You better go and get it!
Suh, girl, suh.
See, the problem with
Hey,
giving
girl,
it to
you
Jonesy-
looking thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
Awful.
Hey, you up?
Yeah. Or, sorry, Kobold Jones, what were you going to say?
I say the problem with giving it to Jonesy is that anytime something happens and he doesn't know, just call big. Hey, Miss Lady, you know anything about the scimitars?
Also, at some point, you will eat it.
Right, yeah.
Somehow it activates in his stomach.
Before leaving town, you buy a bag of rock candy that suspiciously looks like this jewel. And you're just like, I can't mix these two bags up.
Wait a second, was the sending stone purple? Or was it green?
Yeah.
Shit.
Just holding pop
Shit,
rocks
I'm
up to your
colorblind.
ear.
I can't tell.
Yeah.
But yes, then by the end of it, if we do make way through there, we would potentially find ourselves in Cloudview Village if Orville's interested in having himself a bit of a ceremonial tussle to bring in the new season.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, then I think we have a path before us that we likely intend to take. But I know we have a few matters to still handle before we go. Honestly, I wish that I'd known Colt better to be able to give proper advice on what should be done, so I've reached a point where I think that your better judgment to handle his ceremony is how it should be done. Whatever you would like to do, my lady.
Well, if that is the case, then personally I would prefer to forego a ceremony. Instead, I would like to have what his possessions remained within the estate buried in the personal estate garden. I would as well like to open up a scholarship in his name in the Fighters School, and I would like to add him to the list of the named of heroes within my home. But I truly do not know that anyone knew him well enough to speak on his behest for a proper funeral, and I think that it might be best for everyone, including those of which he loved, and who loved him, to have a private area of which they could come to the property and grieve in their own time. It might seem a bit cold-hearted of such things, but as well, ceremony is quite a large endeavor to do, and without a body or remains, I do feel it would be a bit in poor taste to hold a ceremony without him. Truly here.
I think that's a great idea. I think the only thing that I really have from him is his weapon.
Oh,
Sadly, everything else was destroyed along the way.
alright.
There might be some stuff left in his room, like his snuff can and whatnot. But that's it.
There are a number of empty ones that we found when we were cleaning, yes.
Yes.
I will endeavor to have his belongings properly taken care of. If his weapon is useful to you and your team, then I bade that truly you make good use of it in his memory. If not, I again would offer that we could either have this item bronzed and adorned to his gravesite, or we of course could make a formal offer on the weapon and have it added to the collection available for new seekers, rather new weavers chosen under the house banner. Whatever you feel would be best.
Everyone else thinks would be ideal. Could I preemptively submit a candidate for that scholarship?
Of course. It's highly unorthodox to do so, but if you found an individual that might best embody all that Mr. Honeycutt was and uphold his name for honor and the like, I would be welcoming to hear it, and I could happily send a letter of, offer, I should say, to whoever this candidate might be.
Yeah, there's a young girl we met on our travels. Full of that kind of spunky spirit and everything, and her name is Calliope Fiberhair. Down in let me get the name of the town.
Orin.
Oh, the port city.
Yeah, she sent me a postcard that she's training already
Oh,
to be like one of us.
She's young, but she has the spirit.
Yes.
And I also very much intended, when I know she will make her way up here, to support her to be a weaver chosen under this house, because it's where she belongs. You can tell it even in her young age.
Mm-hmm.
well then, of course. I will, I'll have a letter drafted and sent to Orin this very afternoon, and we will make her very aware, that should she want to pursue such a thing, the Galanti estate will cover all expenses needed in her training and schooling, so that she can follow in the path of her hero, Colt Honeycutt.
I think that would be wonderful. Thank you so much, Lady Galanti.
Of course.
She never got to meet Colt.
She didn't, but it's there's lots of owls.
That's true. I think we need to have a group discussion about his weapon to decide
Mhm.
what should be done with it.
I agree.
I'm no fighter, but I didn't know him, but as a fighter, as somebody who likes weapons, as you can tell, I wouldn't want my weapon to be buried underground. I would much rather it be recycled and continue to kick ass.
It's a very exotic sword that he
Yes.
went through a whole rigmarole of secrecy to get his hands on. So
Yeah.
Okay. But, just rather be in other hands than wasted in the ground then.
oh, that's why it might stay in our hands. Is what I'm saying.
Yes.
But we have much to consider now, and I think that you now have a better understanding of our intentions. Once we have, I know myself and JJ have a few items that we're waiting for their completion, and then hopefully soon we'll be ready to get off. on a few of these requests and a few personal matters, if that will do well, lady.
Yes, I believe I will look forward to that as well. Once you are able to finalize what it is that you might need, simply let me know, and we'll have that all squared away and taken care of for each of you. Would that conclude our business then?
Yes, I'll run and grab that paperwork. Thank you very much, Lady Galante.
Of course. If there's ever anything I can do or have provided to you, my children, then truthfully, please just be at ease to ask anything that you might need. That does, of course, go for you as well, Mr. Jones, as well, Celeste. I am here truly to assist you in all matters that I am afforded at this point.
Thank you.
Of course. So if that is all then, I will look forward to hearing your decision and what you come back with. If there is nothing else, then I do believe we are set to begin, if that is right.
Thank you, milady.
Of course. And thank you for coming to see me today, my Seekers of Galante.
Thank you.
Right well.
We'll bow and exit.
Alright. So with that, we'll cover all that nonsense in downtime. However you guys want to break down your next plan, plot, and things of that sort. We'll have a little bit of downtime before we move on forward in the story for next week. Let's see here. We want to raid because Raiden is Raiden. Raiden's a good one.
Old total too.
Oh yes, from the box.
Mm-hmm.
Inside the box is 16,500 gold pieces, all in platinum.
All platinum?
It's all in platinum.
Hey guys, we get more money.
Hey, yo.
So it's a total of 16,500 in gold, but it's paid in platinum coins.
Okay, so it's 605.
It's
Huh? Or no, sorry. It's
1650.
1,650.
1,650 coins are in the box,
Yeah.
totaling 16,500 gold pieces.
Yeah.
275 each. If we do a 6-way split.
I will let all you guys figure that out however you want to do that. But for now, folks, we're going to call it here until next week for more Second Wake. We will have the return of Morrigan Quinlan, and more to do about what's going on with her. Dork Tales just went live, which they're a tremendous, very, very high production Dungeons and Dragons stream who we've raided in the past before. So we're going to go ahead and give them a raid and a follow. Stick with us throughout the raid if you'd like. That way you can earn more channel points. As always, we try to make sure that the channel point redemption stuff will kind of like have more interaction for our streams. So every little bit helps, trust me. And with that as well, I do want to give a quick thing. If you are a subscriber to the channel, you don't have to subscribe. It's completely fine. We do have a raid emote. Spam the hell out of that in their chat. Let them know where you came from. And yeah, thank you guys as always for being our level 20 characters for this broadcast for Second Wake. We'll see you next time. As always, I've been Kareem Zamir. They've been the Seekers of Galante. You've been our level 20 characters. Peace out.